Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Welcome to the White Hatter YouTube news show.
I'm Darren.
I'm Brandon. Let's get into some updates.
Let's get into the updates.
First update from us is we have a new interview up on the channel. Interview with Justin Payeur, founder of Boomerang.
Yes, he's from Quebec. Parlez-vous le français? So you'll hear him with an accent. He is the co-founder and founder of Boomerang. Just a really good interview with him on how he started his company. But we actually dived a little bit deeper into some of the challenges that his company faced against some of the big players out there that are trying to do the same thing and pushing out little businesses like him. We also talked about, if youth, teens who are interested in getting into programming, getting into the digital field, some of his thoughts on programs that you can look at taking. And I'm just looking at his picture there, and his shirt kind of looks like my shirt.
It does look like your shirt.
It does, doesn't it? It's kind of funky that way. Great guy. Check out the video. It's on our YouTube channel. What's our YouTube channel?
White Hatter. The White Hatter. You're on it right now.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, right? Don't hit.
Yeah, we also have a bunch of webinars now up and ready for the month of June and start of July.
And I noticed that some of them are free and some of them are premium. Like, what's that all about?
Yeah, so we have, usually we're trying to do a free webinar in a week, then we're doing our more in-depth premium webinars later in the week.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And the premiums, they're not like outrageously expensive, right? Like $5.95, right?
Yeah.
Like it's extremely reasonable. We want to keep costs down because of COVID and people at home and that kind of stuff. And check it out. You can find more information on our website, which is
thewhitehatter.ca.
thewhitehatter.ca, and you scroll down and you'll see them there, and you just click on that register today, and you'll be able to read more information about each webinar. You don't need to register right away, but why not register for the free ones and the premiums? $5.95. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, right? So check them out. Some really cool one. I'm looking forward to doing the gaming one. That's going to be kind of cool, right?
Yeah, that's
the
interesting.
One? Yeah, that gaming one's going to be really interesting. And also the free sharenting one we're doing. I think
that's the next one. Yeah.
I think a lot of parents who post stuff online, they're not really thinking about these types of issues, about how what they're posting today about their kids could come back and haunt those kids later on in life.
Yes.
And that's what that one's all about. So yeah. Check them out.
Let's get into some news topics of the week.
In the news.
First news topic becoming very prevalent given world situations happening right now with the riots down in the States and actually protests across the world in regards to Black Lives Matter. Signal is having some update features where they automatically are blocking faces. So you as a user, before you send messages or take pictures, you can enable the blur faces features function in Signal that will scan people's faces and photos and put a big giant block of blur.
So they're basically using artificial intelligence to identify what it believes to be faces and make it hard to identify. There are several other apps messing around with this whole idea as well, because again, the issue is, wanting to be ephemeral online, like our privacy issues. And so I think it's kind of a cool idea. It's going to be interesting to see how this grows, how it morphs, but I think it's a good idea, actually.
I think it's a great idea, and I'm seeing a lot of posts from activists who are organizing these rallies, talking about, being cautious of what you post online, especially if other people with you at these rallies and protests and all this stuff. So I think it's a great addition to the app to kind of make people more anonymous and kind of help people's privacy.
From a business standpoint, it'd be pretty cool for schools, right? Where we take a picture of the audience, now their faces will be blurred.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of thing, right?
No, it's not perfect. I mean, it's not completely perfect, but it does, it's a pretty decent job for something that does automatically, especially for people really talking about it, you posting things online, be cautious of the people's faces that you post.
Yeah. Maybe they can make it like a circle rather than a square or something like that, right? Like it's a little bit more fitting to a face. I mean, right now it looks like a Roblox kind of an idea, right? So, but great idea.
It's a great idea.
Great idea. Next one.
NBA is talking about starting their season up again, but in the world of COVID, they're really worried about bringing in audiences to auditoriums to watch basketball.
Yeah, that's one of their concerns.
So what organizers are debating currently right now, according to reports, is the NBA 2K video game.
Okay.
There are reports of how they're probably discussing dubbing over audience noises.
Really?
From the video game over top of the real world game.
That's kind of cool. So it's going to be a mixture of virtual reality combined with reality to be morphed into something that can be televised on TV real time.
In order to mimic a traditional game.
You know what? I bet you they'll go to the next level too. Rather than sound, I bet you they'll kind of put computer animation of fans in the stands when in fact they're not there. Because they could probably do that. They do that in movies now, right?
Probably could.
That'd be kind of cool too.
I mean, but that would be real time though, and movies are all rendered. So I don't know if they will do it real time. But I mean, it's interesting to think about how they're going to just dub. I mean, I don't know exactly how it will feel. Yeah. I mean, like right now, laugh tracks are very awkward now on TV.
That's true.
Because we've kind of grown out of that age.
That's true.
So it'll be interesting to see how that feels. But that's okay. That could be an option for.
Good on the NBA for looking into it, right?
Yeah.
And NBA 2K, is that owned by the NBA?
It's the official game of the NBA. Oh. Now, I would assume the NBA, given who they are, they probably have a lot of rights to what's in that game.
Yeah, I would think so. I bet you the owners of the game are going, yeah, right? Because it'll just drop.
I don't know what the financial background of all this is, but I mean, they have audio audiences during basketball games, so put it into live televised.
Now, I understand Google is facing some issues again.
Yeah, so
what's going on?
This is an interesting story that came out. So apparently California,
$5 billion.
There is a class action lawsuit going against Google against its privacy practices. Now, what a lot of news stories and agencies are focusing on is the Incognito Mode. So basically,
we talk about this in our leveraging course, right?
Yeah, we do talk about this in terms of what Google can and cannot see about you when you use Incognito.
Right.
So what's being proposed in this lawsuit and what's being picked up by the wider media is basically if you turn on Incognito Mode, which is supposedly a private browsing mode on Google, it doesn't completely make you private.
Right. I mean, the whole purpose of Incognito Mode is that it doesn't allow your browser to bookmark where you've gone, right?
Well, it keeps bookmarks if you intentionally bookmark things. It doesn't keep a history record.
A history, that's right. History.
But see, I mean, it's all the same. When you turn on Incognito on Google, you are met with this screen.
Yeah.
Basically saying Chrome will not save the following: your browsing history, your site data, your cookies, and information you personally enter into forms. If you log into Facebook, well, Incognito Mode, obviously Facebook knows you logged in.
Right.
Because obviously, and it clearly says on the right side there, activities that still may be visible is websites you visit can still see that you visit, like your IP address is still visible. If you're using Incognito at a school or in an office environment, well, that may not be private. And your internet service provider, so the company you hire to provide you internet, can still sometimes see what you do.
I mean, the Incognito Mode also allows you to search online without a filter bubble, right?
To a degree, yes. Yeah, it still filters you by your IP address.
So what's a filter bubble?
A filter bubble basically is talking about how when you connect to the internet, each person's internet results when they search things, they're being fed different things based off their past behavior.
Right.
So you're in your own little bubble if you like shoes, for example, or if you like hockey and that's your personality, well, you're going to be fed more of those types of content and when you go on the internet.
So, I mean, this is one of the reasons why we say to students and adults who want to see what the actual world sees about you, like a college, university, or employer, search your name using Google, but do it in incognito, because the incognito search in Google will give you a better representation of what the world is likely going to see about you if they search you. Yeah.
So I think this lawsuit is really going at the semantics of the whole private, because when you look at the Incognito Mode top line there, you can now browse privately. I think they're really focusing on that absolute private word. Maybe Google should say you can now browse more privately.
Yeah, that's a good
instead
point.
Of being completely absolute.
Good point.
But I mean, it's that part of the lawsuit is probably not going to go anywhere because clearly it says obviously you can be tracked. But what's more interesting to me, if you read further down, not many people are picking this up in the wider media, is in the class action here, they're seeking $5,000 for damages per user violation of federal wiretapping and California privacy law violations. So in California right now is the state in the U.S. that has the most strict privacy laws.
Yeah, they're like GDPR.
Basically, similar to what we do in Canada, in Europe, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So Google having buildings based in California, they're using California privacy law to go after Google potential violations. I think that has more substance than the incognito actually tracks you kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's...
No, good point.
So, interesting things to see what's going to come up.
Yeah, for sure. What's next?
Facebook. Facebook has a new feature.
Yeah.
Facebook has a manage activity feature they've built into their mobile platform so far, and they're going to release it to their desktop web-based platform in the future sometime.
And like you said, you can't do this on your laptop or desktop.
Has to be
computer.
on the
Has
mobile
to be on a
app.
mobile. So it could be on a phone, it could be on an iPad, tablet, whatever's mobile.
If you download the Facebook app mobile, then you have access to this.
Now, why is this such a good thing?
This is great. So basically what Facebook has done is it gives you the ability to filter out your posts by tags or date ranges, and you can basically kind of bulk delete a date range of posts. So let's say you're a student, you're posting things right now, maybe a little bit immature, and let's say 5 years from now, you want to become a professional, you're working in a more professional environment, and you're a little concerned about what you posted 5 years ago. You can basically say to Facebook, hey, between this date range and this date range, delete my posts.
And see, that's the difference, because when we posted this on our Facebook page, we posted this on Facebook, go get it. We had a couple of teens saying, well, Darren, we can do that now. We can just go in and delete a post now. Well,
manually, each individual post.
That's the difference, right?
Yes.
So yeah, you can go in manually and do it, but think about this: 3, 4, 5 years down the road from now, are you going to be able? It's going to take a lot of time to search and find that stuff.
Yeah.
Where this way, it's just bulk date hashtag. There's just a simple way to do it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I do. Right?
Obviously, it's not
Perfect.
truly deleted,
No.
because obviously
It's still on Facebook servers.
You got your archive servers that can still keep data.
Yeah.
Or if you're making public posts, a scraping company could have gone to the public post and scraped it off the internet already.
For sure.
in case
But at
a
least
copy
it
of
makes it harder, right?
Makes it harder. So that's an interesting feature coming out of Facebook this week.
Privacy is definitely starting to have an effect, and I think the reason these companies are doing this is because they know the heat is on. The heat is on, right? That song, right? Because you look at countries like Australia and some of the others right now that are starting to hold these companies more accountable for what it is that they're posting and using and how they're using it. So they know that the heat is on, and if they don't start changing practices, they're going to be legislated to do it, and a lot of them don't want that to happen, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a good move on Facebook. It took them long enough to do it. I mean, it should have happened sooner, but at least they've done something, and hopefully it'll move to the desktop laptop.
Yeah.
Because it is easier, right?
I mean, it's easier to bulk delete and navigate with your keyboard and mouse than it is
for
mobile.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Another big player, a lot of big players changing this week.
Twitter.
Twitter.
Fleets.
Testing in Brazil right now. They have a new feature called Fleets.
This one reminds me it's very similar to Snapchat, or ephemeral in nature, right?
Yeah, where it's a separate timeline in Twitter that the things you put in your fleets, not your tweets, your fleets, are only there for 24 hours, and they delete automatically after that.
So what'll be interesting is to see if it will still be searchable. Is it truly deleted and non-searchable, or is it just not viewable but still searchable?
That's a good question. I mean, we'll test it when it comes out here in North America, but I mean, now you can't like or retweet these fleets.
Right.
It's very I post and it deletes 24 hours.
Yeah.
And
Like
I
Snapchat.
would assume if it's a public fleet, like you're publicly putting a fleet out there for 24 hours, and it's public on the internet, well, obviously a data scraping company could just scan fleets and take a copy of them.
That would make sense.
I would assume.
We'll test it.
So.
Yeah, we'll test it. I mean, from an OSINT standpoint, it could make things more challenging for sure, right? Because if they delete and are no longer there, then they're non-searchable without a warrant.
I don't know if users will actually use this as a feature.
You don't think so?
I don't know if people will actually use this.
It'll be interesting. People like to say things and then have them disappear, though, right? Especially if you're a little more provocative.
Maybe
in your tweets and stuff. No.
Maybe. I guess it's all about the marketing. You as a user and how you market the fleets.
Yeah,
where you could put 24-hour flash sales, promo codes.
Yeah.
I think it's about how you use it because.
I never thought about that. This would probably be better for a business for those reasons that you just said. Like flash codes and coupons that you only want up there for a certain amount of time.
I mean, for me, sometimes I go to people's Twitters and I just scan through what they posted through the week as catching up on what they've posted.
Right.
But people now switch to fleets. Now, and I'm interested in someone on Twitter. It forces me to make sure I check them every day.
Gotcha.
If that person is using it in a strategic way and they're marketing themselves. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah, it's very Snapchat-ish in nature, right? So, in what Snapchat does. So, anyways, we'll see.
cybersecurity warning.
Uh-oh.
So
Warning, warning, warning.
not really. Take it how you will.
All right.
So cybersecurity company Lookout found that there's been about a 37% increase in mobile phishing attacks worldwide in the last 3 months. And according to the manager of security solutions at Lookout, basically, it's more difficult to spot red flags that we normally detect on laptop or PCs on such small screens. Because on, say, laptops or PCs, you have big screens, you can see a whole web address. Where on mobile screens, you only see the first couple letters of a web address, so you don't know what's hiding beyond that.
I also think that the weakest link is always the human link. Most of these guys know that most corporations and businesses now are putting pretty good hardware software in place to protect their systems.
Yes.
But a lot of people will bring their devices to work, or some of them do it for BYOD, right? Bring your own device. Yep. And so obviously a lot of these people are bringing their personal devices to work. Some of them, if not a vast majority of them, are probably plugging in for whatever reason. And as soon as they plug in, if their device is being compromised, then that will now
potentially
purposely infect the system, right?
Oh yeah,
like,
potentially.
There's another good reason.
Or
Right?
more so just credential harvesting.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
basically just sending you a false, basically we saw this with Zoom happening, right? Where people would send people fake HR Zoom meeting messages going, hey, log into your corporate account through Zoom, which doesn't work that way. And then, So, I mean, basically, smaller screen, less information you're receiving on the user
Makes
end.
sense.
So it makes sense that hackers will target mobile specifically to hide malicious or red flags.
So do you think it's important for mobile devices? Do you think it's important to have mobile devices then have security software on the device?
Well, I mean, that's an argument that's been around since mobile started. And I think Apple's pretty good because Apple is very, very, very controlling over its device.
For sure.
You cannot put antivirus on an Apple device because it's so controlled.
Right, sandboxed.
Which then gives you the user security because it makes it more difficult for viruses to infect things. Android's a little different, it's a little more open.
A little bit more open?
It's a little bit more open.
A lot more open.
Android's done better over the last couple of years
Has it?
of following Apple's lead on sandboxing things.
Okay, so here's my question, Mr. Smarty Pants.
Yes.
What would you rather have from a security standpoint, an iPhone or Android?
If I'm looking at preventing black hat hackers from attacking me, probably looking at an Apple device.
Okay.
If I'm looking at government surveillance, I would probably get an Android device.
Over an Apple?
Yes.
For government surveillance?
Yes.
Don't you think would be
if you spend the time and effort to customize your Android device to leak no data.
Oh, okay.
But that requires time and effort because because Apple iCloud, for example, is unencrypted, and we've seen cases where law enforcement have warranted Apple for iCloud data and they provided it because it's unencrypted.
That's true.
Apple's great in terms of security from black hat hackers, but it's not perfect from, say, government surveillance.
There you go. All right.
It's better, but they both have their benefits and downfalls.
Okay. Is it Coke or Pepsi?
I'm a Coca-Cola person.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Me too.
We're getting something.
Apple, Android? Apple.
I like it. I mean, I use both.
We have both.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm an Apple guy.
Data breach. Although probably something that will not affect any viewer here. But we get a lot of people, especially younger people, asking us, well, the dark web's a super secret private place. No one can figure out who you are.
Not so much.
Well, okay. So a black hat hacker had hacked into a website hosting provider that hosts darknet, dark web websites.
So Black Hatter hacked a black hat site.
Not all dark web websites are bad.
No.
There's some pretty good ones there, actually.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Like what?
ones that prevent government surveillance to basically.
Boy, you're on the government surveillance thing today.
I'm just saying.
Where's your little tin hat?
There are some.
Oh my God.
There are some
You have now entered
states
the
around the
outer
world
limits.
that limit free speech online from citizens of the country, and some citizens use the dark web in order to speak freely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no.
So I mean, like,
No, you're right.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyways.
Anyways.
So basically what happened here, so people who use this service provider on the dark web to host websites, emails, passwords and private keys to their .onion dark web domains were breached. So not so private.
No.
Yeah, so basically kind of some proof there to help say to people it's not all private.
No, we've known that for years. We've said that for years. I mean, there's government entities still have the ability to track. I mean, state players have the ability to track into the dark web.
It's harder.
Right? It's harder.
It's harder than the open web.
But they have the money and the effort and a reason to do it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Another data breach. Interesting one. So this the
Australian. I love Australia. Hey, we just interviewed the commissioner for e-safety office, Julian Grant, right?
Yeah, it goes out in 2 weeks. I think.
2 weeks, yeah. So that country's on my bucket list, actually.
Yeah.
I want to go to Australia. Anything that bites you there will kill you.
Oh.
Except koalas. I don't think koalas can kill you.
I think they have like
claws and
they have,
stuff.
I think they have like a bacterial.
But they're
claws.
like snakes and spiders and okay. But it's a country I've always wanted to go to. So Commonwealth country. Do you know that?
Yes, it is.
Okay, just spell Australia. No, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. Data breach from bigfooty.com.
From what?
Bigfooty.com.
Big Footy.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Which is a football fan site. So in Australia, there's apparently a special rule set for football.
Maybe I'll have a footy dog for dinner tonight. Oh,
dear.
Anyways, sorry.
There's a specific rule set for football in Australia, and this is a popular website where
Australian football, love it.
where people can comment and talk about it. But there was a data breach. Well, not really. So there was a research company.
There was a data breach, but not really.
I mean, the data was open and public.
Okay.
But a security company came across it, and they came across 132 gigabytes of private data. Now, users on this forum site are pretty much anonymous, but because
They're pretty much what?
anonymous.
Okay, got it.
They're pretty much anonymous.
Anyways.
And basically what happened is private messages were public.
I mean, this is why we say to everybody, I mean, I hate pounding on this, but it's so true. As soon as you hit that send button, no matter what platform, no matter what your privacy settings, everything, you've got to assume that everything you're putting online is public, it's permanent, it's searchable, exploitable, copyable, shareable, exploitable, and for sale.
Yep. According to the researchers, people included in this were high-profile users such as Australian police officers and government employees.
Uh-oh.
So now, according to the company and the research company, there was no evidence of an outside bad actor going in or copying the data or their knowledge.
Yeah.
So hopefully the security company, security detectives found this before someone else did. Hopefully. Don't know for certain, but currently there's no evidence of the data being leaked. But again, the moral of the story is basically saying, yeah, nothing's ever truly private.
Yeah, pretty cool. Interesting. I mean, I just still don't understand how people just don't get this fact. It just, as soon as you hit that send button, it's potentially seeable, right?
Yeah.
And usable by others. So great show.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
it.
we did some interesting things this week as a company. We've got some really cool contracts. You've been working like a dog right now to. We figured out how to use our webinar platform to do real-time translation.
Yeah.
Because we're doing a contract for a company right now for people who are new arrivals to our country whose English is not very good. So they asked us if we could do what we do real time, but have a translator translate at the real time remotely.
I mean, you're never going to get perfect real time over the internet.
But it's pretty, I mean.
Pretty good.
I mean, but what's really cool is we're able to do that remotely now, where we're able to bring that translator into the webinar remotely. It's just really cool. There were some challenges, right? Like, how many hours did you spend doing that?
A good 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool, right? That now that, because I do agree, and, this organization that is contracted this out, their concern is for these new arrivals' kids, right? Because the parents that are coming in aren't necessarily digital savvy, but the kids are, and the parents aren't really well educated on the topics of social media and on life literacy. So that's what they wanted us to do, is to bring them up to speed. But the challenge was, because some of them don't even understand English, was how do we get that to them, but do it as close to real time as we can with you involved. Anyways, it's so cool what Brandon has done and the opportunities that this is going to create. So, well, what else did you do this week? Working on what it is that you've been doing? Like,
Well, I mean, I'm mostly working on the webinars, and the links to those will be in the description here on YouTube. Kind of planning out our free ones and our premium ones, and we're going to be doing another kind of news show at the end of the month for businesses, which is like a business-focused security monthly news roundup.
Cool.
Like this, but on our webinar platform, and we'll see how that goes.
Oh, very cool. Are you gonna be able to have like special guests come into that one?
No.
You're hosting that one, right?
Yeah, I'm hosting that one. It's not going to be. It's going to be a new thing we're going to do, and it's going to be a free one, open at the end of the month. And you can sign up on our webinar platform on our website.
Very cool.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, and we'll develop that new show.
Busy. Even though we're at home because of COVID, right? Staying home to flatten the curve in British Columbia. Oh my God, we have done...
We only had like one new case since January 4th.
Unbelievable what we have done here in this province, led by our health and safety officer, right, in the Ministry of Health, and what they've done. Like, it's becoming world renowned what it is that we've done. Like, it's making big news around the world about, our low level of COVID and how we were able to kind of not just flatten, but create an upside down or a fully inverted U, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing, right? So
yeah. I'm seeing a lot of posts because of how well we're doing. I'm seeing more positive posts from online from people who are attending the Black Lives Matter rally down in Victoria today.
Yeah.
More people are going to attend that because the risk of COVID here on the island is such lower than anywhere else in the world. It's going to encourage more people to come out.
But we can't let it create this false belief that COVID is no longer here.
No, the organizers
right?
of the rally have also talked about wearing masks and all that stuff.
Social distancing, mask. Yeah, I mean, we can't let our guard down because, as we know, this is just a horrible disease, right? If you get it, and the ability of it to kill people and stuff. And so, way to go, British Columbia, and what it is we do. But let's keep our guard up. So, yeah, for sure. Well, great show. Great show. So, on behalf of myself, I'm Derek.
And Brandon, thank you so much. And we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.